Hello dear viewers. Thank you for always supporting and following our channel. Today, we will dive into a heartfelt story about love, family, and the important decisions in life. Have you ever wondered what a loving mother can do to ensure that her child will be happy in love? Should a mother intervene in her children's romantic lives, or should she let them decide freely? What happens when a mother wants to understand and ensure that her child's partner is the right one? And can a mother's love help her son find true happiness? Today's story will make you reflect on love, sacrifice, and tough decisions. Let's find out what James' mother did to help her sons find the perfect partners, and whether she succeeded in this important task. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on the exciting stories coming soon. Join our community today. James' mother is a remarkable woman with a broad vision, strength, and independence. She runs a large business abroad and has built an impressive career that few can match. Despite her extremely busy work schedule, she always tries to stay in touch with her family, especially with her sons. However, life abroad hasn't been easy, and the distance from her family sometimes leaves her feeling lonely. Day after day, she works hard, but every night, her longing for her sons grows stronger. James, her husband, and her younger son Hung have been back in Vietnam for a long time, seeking business opportunities and building their careers. All three men in her family have grown up and are self-sufficient, yet she still feels their absence. Although everything seems stable, she cannot shake the feeling of missing them. "Mom, I've had dinner already." "Don't worry about me," James says during a video call, his face showing a faint smile, but she can still detect the worry in his eyes. "You have to take care of yourself. Don't let work make you forget your health," she reminds him. She knows James is tough, but she can't fully relax unless she sees him healthy every day. She remembers the old days when James was a child, and she was always there to care for and protect him. That feeling of closeness is no longer present. No matter how many business trips or how busy she gets, she always wants her family to be together. "This time, I'm going back to visit you guys. I'll stay for a while. I want to see you, to learn more about your life now," she says, her voice firm. She has decided to return to Vietnam not just for a visit but also to spend time observing and better understanding the changes in James and Hung's lives. She doesn't want to know everything through phone calls or messages alone. She wants to feel the atmosphere, the space of the family, and get to know the people James and Hung are in love with. This trip isn't just about visiting her family, but also an opportunity for her to take care of important matters in the family. "Mom, are you happy with Deep and CA? I've heard a lot about them, but I want to meet them in person to see what they are really like," she continues during the call, her curiosity evident on her face. Even though James has shared a lot about his relationships, she still feels uneasy without meeting them herself. "Don't worry, Mom. You've already met Deep, and I feel really good about her," James replies, knowing that his mother needs assurance, but he doesn't want her to worry too much about him. James' mother understands that her sons' lives have changed, and she cannot keep living in the past. She needs to learn more about these relationships because she believes that making the right decision for her sons requires a well-rounded perspective. Alright, I'll come back right away, and when I do, I'll meet Deep and CA in person, she decides. I want to see if my sons have chosen the right partner because they deserve true happiness. She knows that this trip won't just be a simple visit. It's an important step to ensure that James and Hung's lives will always be stable and fulfilling. This trip is not just about visiting, but about creating a stronger connection within the family, reminding her sons that family is always the most supportive and loving place. She feels that even though they are far away, her concern and love for her sons will never change. And this time, she will not only go back to see them but also to solidify the bond that holds the family together, showing her sons that family will always be there to provide support and love. James' mother is a woman with a clear vision and strong determination. She has been living abroad for many years, managing a large business and achieving great success, but in her heart, there is always an unresolved concern, the distance from her family, especially from James and Hung. Even though her sons have grown up and are independent, she feels that big decisions in life require her involvement, opinions, and proximity. When James and Hung went back to Vietnam to pursue their careers, she felt that it was time for her to be present, not just to support them but also to help make important decisions about their lives. She knows that even though they are adults, sometimes decisions about love and marriage need a mother's perspective. One day, while sitting in her office, she paused, looking out the window and wondering, I've been away from my sons for too long. Are they okay? Are they happy? Have they found the right person to marry? These questions kept spinning in her mind. Although she had heard about her sons' relationships, she knew she needed to meet their partners in person to understand if they were truly the right match for James and Hung. James, are you doing well? I've heard so much about Deep, but I want to meet her in person to understand more about her, she said over the phone, her voice gentle but tinged with concern. I'm fine, Mom. Don't worry. Deep is a great person, and I'm really happy to have her by my side, James replied, but she could hear a slight anxiety in his voice, something that didn't go unnoticed by her. James' mother could never feel at ease without directly experiencing the relationships within her family. She had been away for too long, and knowing who her sons were in love with or who was special in their lives wasn't enough to put her mind at rest. So, she decided that now was the time to go to Vietnam. It wouldn't just be a simple visit, but an opportunity to take a closer look and make important decisions regarding her sons' futures. She had heard a lot about CA, Hung's girlfriend, but she hadn't yet had the chance to meet her face to face. I've also heard about CA, but I haven't met her. Are you sure she's the right one for Hung? She asked, her concern clearly reflected in her voice. I think so, Mom. CA is really good, and Hung loves her very much, Hung replied over the phone, but his response wasn't as reassuring as she hoped. He knew that, while he could make his own decisions, his mother still wanted to be sure that the woman he loved was a perfect match for him. She paused for a moment before deciding, "I'll go. I need to meet them in person, feel everything with my own heart. I can't make decisions about my son's marriages based only on second-hand information." This trip to Vietnam wasn't just about visiting her family, it was also an opportunity to fulfill her role as a responsible mother. She wanted to show that no matter how far she was, her love and concern for her family would always come first. She believed that making the right decision for her sons couldn't just come from hearing about things from afar, it needed to come from direct understanding. "I know you love Deep very much, but I want to meet her. I want to see if she's really the right person for you. Don't worry, I just want to be sure," she continued, her tone calm yet firm. James heard his mother's words, and while he knew he was grown, he also knew that she always worried about him. "I understand, Mom. Go ahead and meet Deep, but I'm sure she'll make you happy," James said, trying to reassure his mother, but he also knew that she needed time to feel comfortable and understand his feelings. With firm resolve, James' mother began preparing for her trip. It wasn't just about reuniting with her family, she also wanted to ensure her sons were heading in the right direction in life and love. Things couldn't just be left to words or superficial reassurance, there had to be real meetings and genuine understanding. "I can't let my sons handle everything on their own. Sometimes, I have to step in and help them find the right path," she thought to herself. So, this trip wasn't just about family reunion, it was a chance for her to fulfill her role as a responsible mother, one who was always ready to help her children find true happiness. This trip of James' mother was not just a simple family reunion, but a journey filled with many expectations and determination. She knew that her sons' lives were not only revolving around work but also involved major decisions concerning love and the future. James' mother had spent many years apart from her family, but this time, she felt it was the right moment to return, not just to visit her sons but also to do something she felt was incredibly important, to learn about her future daughters-in-law. "Surely you're looking forward to me coming back, aren't you?" she asked James over the phone, her voice gentle, yet her heart filled with worry. "Of course, Mom. I'm really happy that you decided to come. And about Deep, you'll see, she's a great person," James replied, trying to reassure her, but she could still hear the slight anxiety in his voice. She understood her son, James was a determined and independent person. However, no matter how strong he was, she still felt that she needed to be there by his side to help him make important decisions. She knew that, although James didn't say it, deep down, he still wanted his mother's support and guidance in matters of love. She wanted to see firsthand, to find out if his future partner was truly the right person for him and whether their relationship was strong enough for a lasting future. James' mother had lived through many ups and downs in her life. She knew that choosing a life partner was not something to be taken lightly. Love had to be built on the foundation of mutual understanding, respect, and care for one another. She wanted to make sure that James wouldn't face any hardships or heartbreaks in the future. "Son, I want you to be happy. I've seen you cry a lot because of past relationships, and I don't want that to happen again. What's deep like? Can you be sure that she will always be by your side, supporting you through everything?" she continued, her voice filled with deep care and love. James sighed, feeling his mother's concern, but he also understood that sometimes she could worry too much. "Don't worry, Mom. Deep and I have been through a lot together. She understands me, and you'll see she's a really good person," James said, trying to comfort her, though he knew his mother needed time to be truly at ease. Still, she decided to make concrete plans for her trip. She wanted to meet Deep in person, to see how she treated James, to understand more about who she was, and to get to know Deep's family. "On this trip, I'll meet Deep, I'll learn about her, and I'll make sure that my son is on the right path," she thought, with determination in her heart. Throughout the preparations, she kept reflecting on her son's futures, especially James. She wanted them to build a happy, strong family. Life isn't always easy, but when you have the right partner, you can overcome any difficulties, she reassured herself. When she arrived at the airport, James was already there to welcome her. "Mom, you're finally here. I've been looking forward to this meeting," James said, his eyes lighting up as he saw her. "I'm really happy too, son. I know you're worried, but I want to do everything right for you," she said, smiling warmly and hugging her son. Her words were like a promise that she would always be there to support and guide him through the important decisions in his life. James' mother's trip wasn't just about reuniting with her sons, it was about demonstrating the boundless love she had for her family. She knew that, even though her sons had grown up, the decisions they made in life still needed the involvement of their loved ones, those who could see things from a caring and objective perspective.